What's your business? Don't think when I'm riding by. Ain't no drizzle, be the truth off the east side. I know we ain't got my money because they ducking high. I grind for your mind. I got the green light. I got to get it how I live it.
Well. Looks like y'all stumbled upon a little dream stream. So what's up? What's good? We're going to get started in just a second. Please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. Do whatever you guys do to get this video out there in the internet somewhere. Let me adjust the lighting. It's a little bright. I'm sure that'll be fun. So we have a few comments already. Let me read some of them. We also have a chat to take a look at. We have H. Brossi. Thank you for that chat, by the way. He says, $4.99 USD. You should do a dual stream with Jay before you get into your topics. Following this situation has been hilarious. Jay's welcome to come on. I will open up the stream and we'll discuss. This is not going to be like super deep theology stuff, but we will have to cover some certain things. So some of this will be toy chicken, and then some of this will be actual theology. Thank you very much for super chat. All of you need to stop barking and manifesting. Super Lion says, Gene, what's the intro song called? I said it's called Chuck E. Cheese Fatwa. That's right. My bad. I thought this was Twitter. I don't. You say whatever you want. I will donate $0 if you mew. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. Jimmy's looking flashy. Is that cake? That's a candle. What kind of cake are you talking about? Like, that's a candle. Maybe put your glasses on. This is the chicken. This is not cake. This is chicken. It's actually Cairo's chicken. Oh, I'll open the door for you. Go ahead. Go. See, now he had to use the public washroom, but he couldn't open the door, so I had to help him. It's toy chicken. Yeah, that's right. We got toy chicken theology. So every time I see an opinion that is garbo, I will pick up the toy chicken. Let's get started. I'm sure there's some viewers here who don't know who I am. You think I just talk about chickens, so let's get into it. We're going to watch a couple of videos, not in full, obviously, for multiple reasons, but I'm going to comment on a few things that I see. We're going to hang on. Junior needs more attention. Where'd you go? Buddy? Yeah, I'm screaming. What's up? Look like a potato today. He's got that potato. Gene doesn't look like a 2-year-old baby today. Well, thank you very much. All right, let's get started on. We have a couple things to watch. I'm going to share screen just a couple 2 minutes of Sam Shamoun's stream, and then we are going to leap into the theological issues, of which there are quite a few. So let me just share. Okay. I suppose I'll go in the corner here. Maybe it would be better if I do that, honestly. That way I can't get struck for using too much of somebody's material. You know what I mean? Nah, I'm saying. All right. Let's read. I'm going to put on this, and I'm going to put it on fast because, again, I don't want to be struck by, I don't know, copyright stuff. Let's see.
So he can get a reaction and then make fun of you. Watch. You will not last in your marriage. And she's going to be the tool that God uses to expose you. Remember my words. She's going to expose you for who you are by the power of Jesus Christ. Remember my words. This is the sick demon who was what? Protestant, and then he was a Catholic for 10 years, and then he went and became what? Embraced Judaism, came back? All right, we'll see. Remember my words. Let's see if I'm right.
Okay, well, let's read some of the post, and then I would like to comment on his accusation of Judaism. Hang on, this is like, give me a second. I think it's a little better. Whatever. Yeah, I'm just gonna go like this for now. So if we take a look at this stuff here, I'll read it out. Of course, I know you guys can read, but based on some comments, I'm not so confident about. Let's get to the debates, and gay liars. Funeral services are underway. Okay, so Jay Dyer is now a gay liar. According to the Thomists, he's Jay Dyer. It's funny, a Platonic joke coming from them. At William Albrecht will be going live today, calling him out and pulverizing his arguments. So he's not just defeating them, he's going to pulverize them, he's going to slam them, he's going to cast Colossus Smash on them. Now, for all of you fangirls of his and his ortho sisters, make sure you get your dog to stop barking and man up to debate this time around. I don't know. I thought Jay was okay with the debate. I thought Jay wanted to debate, and then they kept pushing that. So if that turns into a real debate, I would love to watch it. I don't think it's going to happen for multiple reasons, and I'll tell you why. So, yeah. I don't think there's much else to read there. Let's just continue.
And we'll see who will be vindicated. So now, he's called out. And I wrote this for you Oriental Orthodox and Eastern Orthodox, not for the ortho queers. I have no respect for you.
All right, so ortho queers are not apparently all Orthodox. It's just people who are on Jay Dyer's channel, but apparently they've been tekfired. So here's the problem. First of all, he claims that Jay was a Prot and then a Catholic or something, then maybe Orthodox and then really Orthodox. that he dabbled in Judaism. Those are all completely out of the timeline. Those are all at completely different times. So that's actually wrong. Like, whoever gave him that little rap sheet doesn't know the actual history. For a while, Jay was considering Christianity as he studied philosophy. And for like, I think there were only 2 instances where he took a stance where he was arguing devil's advocate about, well, what if Judaism says X, Y, Z? How do we know Christianity is true? This was a very, very long time ago. I don't know much about his Protestant background. I know he was a Calvinist, and then he eventually became Orthodox. But you know what? Not to be totally rude here, but we could fire the same thing back at Sam. Like, Sam was a Protestant. He never took the Assyrian Church of the East seriously. Fine, whatever. Most people don't. He became a Protestant. He was into Calvinism. Then he left Calvinism and was just floating in the orb of Protestantism. Did debates with other Protestants and was kind of conciliatory to the other Christians, but he disagreed with them. Then he started to do this journey on the apostolic faiths, which, again, I don't think there is an apostolic faith, but there's one. There's not just one generic one. So he did that for a while, and he hosted Assyrians. He hosted Oriental, so Miaphysite. He was for a while hanging out with Kai and J. Dyer. Then he dropped them. Then it was pro-Miaphysite, Oriental Orthodox. And now it's past year and a half. It's been mainly, maybe 2 years, it's been mainly Catholic, mix of Eastern Catholic and Roman Catholic theology. I defended Sam in a recent stream I did. Okay? I defended Sam in a recent stream I did, where I defended the fact that he doesn't need to believe in the Thomistic version of Theophanies, which there aren't any, they don't exist, because Sam has not gotten into the deep metaphysical stuff. He's a great biblicist, but he doesn't know the philosophy and the metaphysics. And it can be very frustrating for people who get this metaphysical or get really into religion and then don't know the metaphysical stuff. Okay, so Oliver Leo says, I'm on Jay's stream. He's still waiting to debate, but not sure William will. Yeah, we'll see what happens with William. I'm going to play a little bit more. So yeah, that's, so far I'm just giving some corrections on that.
You're scum. You're scum. I have no respect for you. I think you're scum. And I'm very consistent. I don't like Calvinists like Matt Slick and James White, and I don't like radical Thomists. I can't stand any of you guys. But here's what I want to say to all you guys. See that, brother? I'm getting fatter, dude. I'm starting to look like Orthodox cow. I mean, Kai, pray. I got to go by the grace of Jesus Christ and start doing cardio because it's been a bad one for me. Here's what I want to say to you, Oriental Orthodox. I did a post for you guys. Oriental Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox, and Assyrian Church. I did this post for you, not for them. I can't stand these guys. First of all, they kept whining like dogs. Why are you posting Theoria? I know you guys demonize.
I'm commenting on this. So for anybody who thinks I'm just spinning the clock by playing Sam's stuff, I'm commenting on the Theoria thing in 1 second.
Every and any and all Orthodox who call you out. It was an Eastern Orthodox brother.
That doesn't matter. I'm sorry, Sam, but that really doesn't matter. You have to know who these people are. None of us online trust Theoria. It used to be called something else. It was run by somebody totally different. Okay? Quick History Channel. It was run by somebody else. It was called something totally different. Then it becomes Theoria, this guy Ben or whatever. I don't know if he's gay. He's going to comment on the gay thing in a second. Whether or not he's gay, he has always had a problem with anybody being aggressively pro-Orthodox. And that's the same exact thing that the Vatican does. They don't actually like when people are aggressively Catholic. They like when you're a lukewarm Catholic. This is all basically just Western liberalism. Okay, not everybody in the West is liberal, but there is a strand of Orthodox, now that Orthodoxy has become more popular in the United States. There are people who are trying to distance themselves from what they see as the tribal attitude of Greeks and Slavs and Arabs and other people who are Orthodox and say, actually, we have this conciliatory, universal, and by universal we mean accept any kind of ideas, religion, where it's like, you're just a Christian of a different color. And we don't believe in that. And none of the church fathers believe they were Christians of a different color. They believe there's one faith, and you're willing to go to some pretty extreme lengths to defend it. Okay. Should have seen some things you said. He wants and wishes in Christ's name that we were Orthodox are cut off. I know. I saw that, Arthur. Yeah. Yep. I did see that. So cut off in the Bible does actually mean death. Okay. So you say, I want X, Y, and Z to be cut off. Doesn't mean, hey, go play in the kid's house. Go play in the playpen. It means death. Gene, why are you in Sam Shamoun's kitchen? I don't know, man. I got a little better aesthetic going here. And talking about someone else's wife. Yeah. Sam said he's having trouble keeping Latin Lent. That's fine. Not everybody has to keep a perfect Lent. I don't claim to keep a perfect Lent. and is seeing orbs. He's been seeing the orb thing for a very long time. This is not new. This has been going on for at least a year. So if anybody thinks, oh, this orb stuff, that's been a while. But anyway, Theoria, it's not just an ad hominem. Theoria does not talk the talk of historic orthodoxy. He talks the talk of, let's take a few saints and market this as a very fluffy religion to yuppie people here in America.
An Eastern Orthodox brother who sent me the links. What are you not getting?
Well, by that logic, Peter Diamond is a Roman Catholic brother. So I guess I got to accept everything he says.
The Eastern Orthodox said, I'm embarrassed by the Ortho They don't represent me. Even though I disagree with the Roman Catholic Church, I love you guys. Here are links to show you.
Yeah, this love stuff is an excuse to get away with anything. All right? Everyone thinks, oh, yeah, we got to love all these other ancient Christians. You can love from a distance, okay? The Greek for love, it does not mean the same thing you think it means. And I've done a ton of streams on how we don't accept people who insult our religion. You insult our religion, you're now an enemy. You're an enemy of the church. What's the church? Church of who? The church of me? No, the church of God. So that means you're an enemy of God. Bipartisan because of that, okay? So if you insult orthodoxy, I don't have to be, oh, I just love you guys, I want unity. I don't want unity if you're not going to be doing proper religion. I'm sorry, I don't want unity with Hinduism unless they let go of their polytheism and weird rituals that are not acceptable. I don't want unity with rabbinic Judaism unless they accept Christ and the entire New Testament canon and they accept our liturgy. So no, I don't just want unity. No one should just want unity for the sake of unity. Ecumenism. Okay. I don't know who David James Flood is. Okay. Let's continue.
They're being called out. What are you not getting?
I don't know.
See, look at the slander here. Is he gay? Let's say he's gay. How does that change the facts? Isn't your mother a lesbian?
Okay. First of all, how? All right.
How does it change the facts? See, ad hominem.
This did an ad hominem to him, even if it's a joke. It's kind of missing the point. It actually does make a difference because if somebody's doing something that's totally against Orthodox theology, you can't know Orthodox theology. This is why this is the disease of RCism. The disease of Latin theology is everything's intellect. So it doesn't matter if you're like a self-destructive imbecile and you can't even act like a normal human being. If you're completely dysfunctional, you can still do Latin theology because it's all in the head. It's all intellectual. Whereas for Orthodoxy, it's an experiential, empirical religion. So guess what? You can't do Orthodoxy unless you're living Orthodoxy. So actually, it does make a difference, right? If somebody's LGBTQ, they can't teach Orthodoxy. End of story, all right? Unless they deal with whatever they're dealing with. They can't teach something that is impossible for them to live. You understand that? Okay, if I don't have any feet, I cannot teach people to run. You understand? I can't teach to run if I don't have feet. And so this is an empirical religion. And if you're not living it, and if you do not embody it, you're not teaching it. That's it. We do not sit at our desks with our chicken theology, and we do chicken theology, and we sit at our desks and we masturbate in our heads about metaphysics and think that we're the correct people. That's not how it works. This is a religion where you have to experience or to participate with the energies. Okay. Thank you, Juha. Okay, let's continue.
Ad hominem. When you can't attack the arguments, you attack the man. Okay, let's say he's struggling with homosexuality. You mean someone who struggles with homosexuality and acknowledges and confesses it and asks God to have mercy and he doesn't act upon it? He's not saved?
We don't know. We don't know if he doesn't act upon it. I don't live with the dude. You can't just make that assumption. Maybe he does act upon it. And even if he doesn't, again, if you can't live Orthodoxy, you can't teach it. That's how it is. It's the opposite of that dodgeball thing or whatever it is. Or gym. Is it gym? If you can't teach gym. Yeah, actually, it's the opposite. If you can't do, you can't teach. End of story.
Well, your mother's a lesbian and you're a porn addict and you watch porn and masturbate. Does that mean you're not a Christian either? You filthy, wicked hypocrite. You see the demons?
We don't know if the guy watches porn. Actually, the guy's right here. Do you, in fact, do lesbian porn? Okay. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your username. Do you watch lesbian porn? I mean, I don't know what else to say. Do you watch lesbian porn? Yes, but if you actually take a look at that example, which I was about to bring up, so thank you for bringing it up preemptively. he conquers that, doesn't he? He lives a monastic life, doesn't he? And if you read his works, they're all orthodox. By coincidence, a guy who's being accused of being LGTV has not conquered it, and we don't even know if he is, so this is all just slander anyway. But if he is, and he hasn't conquered it, the fruits of that are he's not teaching proper orthodoxy. Sorry, but that's it. I don't know if that's the real Sam Shamoun, to be honest with you. There are people who just impersonate stuff and then come on my channel, so don't get so excited. I will put the stuff in here in a second. Let me stop sharing because I want to pull up another video because this stuff's. We'll get back to that video in a second. Just give me 1 second. I don't want to donate plasma. Weird ad. I will put the invite link in 1 second. You guys can come on. We have H. Brossi again. Thank you very much, Mr. H. Super chat 49 USD. All right. The goal is only 5 till super chats. Let's get it. You bunch of soys. Jeem is the realist. Afro-Asiatic. Thank you very much. I'm just going to cover part of the J Sam stuff. I don't want to just riff on people's videos. So
tell him this, then it hurt his feelings. But the other reason the other people don't want to interact with Albrecht is that they don't want to interact with Sam Shamoun. And that's all the people in my circles. So no one else wanted to come on this roundtable. And so I was trying to figure out ways to set up the roundtable where we could have me do a presentation and then separately Albrecht do a presentation. Well, I suggested that 3 or 4 times, and I guess that wasn't good enough. Because no one wanted to interact with Albrecht because Albrecht is a shady character. That's why. And because they don't like Sam Shamoun. I mean, it's not true, but it might be a person who has a kind of a psychosis or is a...
All right, so the psychosis stuff, basically, Jay was giving messages to Sam in the middle of Skype, and Sam started calling him manifesting and barking like a hound, like a dog, like a pig, like a swine. And so, unless we're missing some context here, it looks like this might be a way to poison the well. So poisoning the well, poisoning a well, okay? That's basically when you don't want to debate somebody and you have to come up with some other way to distract people from, oh, sorry, I didn't know it was on 0.2. I'll put on 1.25. Another way of having to deal with that where you don't actually have to debate them. It's like, oh, actually, this guy's a racist, or this guy's mean, or he's, mentally unfit to talk to me. Therefore, you can actually debate him. I'm going to put in the invite link, and I want some people to join. It is going to be pinned right now, pinned message. We have another super chat. It will come up in 1 second, so thank you very much.
Dealing with certain types of bipolar issues. And I think that probably that's what's going on. I'm not saying that to humiliate him because I'm not interested in going into this whole thing. As you're going to see, like when I tried to reach out again tonight to set up a debate, he just went off the hook. So I don't think this is a person that you can be reasonable with. And you'll see.
All right, got a couple super chats. Let me read them out before I talk again. I'll just hard carry to the goal if I have to because I'm that guy. Okay, well, thank you very much. It's really helpful. Super chat again. It's why I feel lost in any Western church. I'm Melchi. When I visit Latin church, it's a whole other religion. Well, it is. It's a different, they emphasize different things, guys. They emphasize totally different things. We talked about this intellect versus experiencing, and I have to get into the essence energy stuff. Super chat 5 USD from Knox Vi. Thank you very much, Knox Vi. You have anything you want to say? Let's continue.
Right here. Right here, see? So don't lie for him because he's been trying to get my attention. I'm live. I'm thinking, okay, some other time we'll do it. All right. So no, you fangirls, shots fired.
So then he got mad because he messaged me.
We in O-Block, like he says shots fired so many times. Like, shot fired? We in O-Block or something? I'm in Chicago, so if you guys know what O-Block is, you do know what O-Block is. But speaking of the chicken stuff, we do have to get into the, I know that wasn't a comment on O-Block. We do need to get into the essence energy stuff. So I bring up the chicken when I hear bad theology, saying shots fired and I defeated you and you're a barking demon is not good theology. H. Brossi says, hit them with that reverse psychology and they start sending in the dollar bills. That's awesome. There's a guy called Big Porn who wants to join. Hello, Big Porn. What's up? Well, I'm not satisfied. Well, he's gone. Let's continue.
me in the middle of this, and he said, "Why are you sending your minions into my chat?"
Minions.
I've never sent minions into chats. I don't have the time or the energy, interest in doing that.
I guess not.
That's just the way the internet works. People will come and talk smack and strategize and tell, "All right, go get him, guys." I just put it publicly, right? So at this point, I posted the public question: why don't you guys both come and have a debate?
It's not going to be on his time, so he can simmer down.
Now, wait a minute. Shamoun always demands everyone come.
All right, let's get, I think there's a little more back here.
Oh, hey.
Oh, yeah, ad block. How's it going? It's going fine. I'm regretting not getting ad block, so thank you for asking that.
I took issue with was in the stream, he says that the Protestants are killing it on the Trinity because they go to the angel of the Lord in the Old Testament. And I understand that he was saying,
I wonder how the Protestants go to the angel of the Lord in the Old Testament when they're the inheritors of Catholicism, and Catholicism denies that.
that they're doing better in that domain than the Roman Catholic apologists who don't want to talk about the Trinity in the Old Testament because they have a pretty bad theology. But that wasn't what I was taking issue with. I'm taking issue with the idea that either the Protestant or the Roman Catholic Trinitarian model are correct. I believe they're both wrong, and I think that you can demonstrate.
I concur. They are both wrong because they're the same thing. So Protestantism, there are different kinds of Trinitarianism, guys, but they're the same thing. They come from quite a few different. Sorry, I missed a couple chats. Oh, the bigger porn thing. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Porno. If you want to come back, we're waiting. Big porn, like big pharma, but it's big porn. Anyway, the point is there are different kinds of Trinitarianism. If any of you are watching and you're like, whoa, what's the big deal? It's just, the same diagram is just flipped upside down. First of all, no one cares about some diagram. No one does chicken tender diagram theology. So as we say on my channel, F off with that rat shit. We don't care about that. In the Orthodox Church, the one true God is the Father. He is the first cause. He is the reason we have one God. And most of the time, he's the one called the one God. The Nicene Constantinopolitan Creed says that we believe in one God the Father, not we believe in one God, le essence. So there's a very big distinction there. There are some Orthodox who have a problem with that, and they just say trihypostatic God, that's fine. But you cannot say triune God. It's not an Eastern way of talking. So we don't believe that we have three entities or three persons or instantiations, and then like a fourth greater thing that's like the orb or the nature. We don't believe in that. We don't believe God is compelled. We don't believe that he acts because he's compelled to do something and take away his freedom. We don't believe that God chooses, not according to foreknowledge, who to arbitrarily save or not save per Romans 5, which a lot of Thomists and Scotus type people do believe. So, and I do have channel memberships. Thank you, H. Brozzi. You can check those out. But there's a massive, massive difference. Okay, the one God is the Father, the Holy Spirit, and the Son come from him. They have his divinity. They can be called God by the generic title of God. That's what that means. Okay. Now, St. Augustine, did he invent the filioque? No, but he's a semi-filioquist position. So he's moving closer to it. He did not invent it. Anybody who says he invented the filioque, you're wrong. He didn't invent it. But his position can very easily be adapted into it because he does not identify the God of the Bible. He doesn't identify the God of the Bible as the Father. He identifies it as a nature that all the persons are somehow identical to. So that is his theology. It moves toward the filioque, semi-filioquist, without really being the same as later Catholic Latin versions of the filioque. The Orthodox Church doesn't accept that. It never has and never will. It changes what God is. Someone joined and then they left. Hey, porno, if you're going to come in, come in. What are you guys talking about? Yeah. All right, let's get back to it.
That not just in terms of the monarchia and how that's central
to
it.
Sorry, yeah. So first of all, as Jay's saying, you do need monarchia to believe in the Theophanies, and you do need essence energies to believe in the Theophanies, because via the energies of God, you can actually experience and participate with God. That's what partakers of the divine nature is talking about in 2 Peter. And if you say, well, it's written by somebody else, guess what? In Romans chapter 1, St. Paul says pretty much the same thing. He says that we can know God via his divine nature. Okay. And the Greek word he uses there does not match any other term that would make any other sense other than the Godhead or the divine nature, or something very similar to that. Same way of talking. If you want to experience God, which by the way is what the Bible tells us that Moses literally saw God. He didn't see a created hologram. He saw God. So if you want to believe in what the Bible actually says, and you want to experience God, and the only way to teach theology and learn theology and become purified and fixed is the only way to do that is to experience God. And the only way to experience God is if you can actually partake. If you can actually experience God and not just an effect. And so you need these to believe in the Theophanies. Brazi, thanks again. I do have memberships. You can go and check out that on my channel. I forget what link it is, but you can check that out. On YouTube, I'm not seeing the option. If so, also great timing on the use of the word orb. Yeah, thank you. So if you take a look at all of that, that's what I'm talking about. So back to what I was saying. You cannot, and I'm going to warn everybody right now. Man, I'm going to warn everybody right now. You cannot do hodgepodge theology. Can't do it. You cannot believe in 10% this, 10% that, 5% this. You have to accept the whole system. Right? So if Orthodoxy does the Theophanies, you don't get those unless you accept the system. Why? Because they don't make sense outside of the system. You're going to accept the Theophanies, but not accept monarchia. That doesn't make any sense. You can accept the Theophanies, but you can't interact with God. That doesn't make any sense. You understand the problems here of just doing hodgepodge? So when the Protestants are better at Catholics, good for them. If they're better at Catholics at defending this stuff, whatever. But they're not internally consistent. Catholics are internally consistent with the parameter of their own system of belief. That's why they have to interpret the Old Testament that way. Let's get back to it.
Orthodox Trinitarian theology, especially from Constantinople and the Cappadocians, but also the energies doctrine, which is concomitant with that monarchical Trinitarian doctrine of the Cappadocians. That's why the Eastern Fathers and the Eastern Councils dogmatize.
It's not just for somebody says, "Oh, the Cappadocians invented it." It is what the Nicene Creed says. Like when you go to church and you say that, you are saying monarchia. You are not saying St. Augustine's filioque, and God forbid you are not saying John Calvin's Trinity, okay? Where the Son, by hypostatic properties, autotheos. He goes way further than anything Augustine says.
Is the energies doctrine. But he doesn't even know that the energies doctrine is in the New Testament. As I'm going to show you when he starts, as he says,
Ergon, energia, it's in the New Testament. That's what it means. I deny some wordings because it's written by men. I don't know what the problem is. Jim, also St. Paul says we only truly know God through faith that works through love. Yeah. Okay. If you'd like to discuss that, you're welcome to come on. Do not debate in this chat. Where are my moderators? Where is my super suit? Let's continue.
barking about the energies doctrine itself.
We're going to call him out too, don't worry. You with me there? That's why his fangirls are manifesting. I feel bad for you Orthodox brothers and sisters, seriously.
So if you're Orthodox, you're just my fangirl, even though...
All right, let's go back to the other video. For now, I'll just riff. Guys, like, calls are open. Like, you can come in. Like, none of you guys want to come in, but you can. Yeah, I see the demons. None of you can. None of you will. None of you guys who want to debate and play tough guy with the canonicity of the Bible want to come in. Like, oh, I just need my Bible. I don't need anything else. Good for you. Good for you. But I bet you're not going to agree with the guy sitting 5 feet away from you. I bet you're not. Where is my son? Pork. Well, I hope you're all happy. Pork is gone. That's what I call Cairo sometimes. All right, let's get into the next video since nobody's brave enough to come in. Dungeon Master with a obese chat. Thank you very much for the 10 USD. Can you please comment on whether or not someone needs to understand the difference between RC and EO to partake of the sacraments? There's no EO near me. You not being near an EO church does not have a bearing on your salvation. Okay? So that does not have a bearing on your salvation. Don't worry about that particular issue at the moment. Do you need to understand the differences? No, you need to understand the very basic differences. Okay? The very basic stuff. We believe in an experiential religion. We believe that God is defined by the monarchia. We do not believe in changing our religion over time. We emphasize the defeat of death, and the resurrection is at Pascha. Those are the three main things. If you can grasp that, that's all you need. You do not need to master SS energies. You might just, it'd be nice to know what that is, but you do not need to master it. You do not need to master Halomism. You do not need to master any of this stuff. There is no mastering. Most people should never be mastering anything. You just need to know the bare basic differences. Well, James, what's up?
Hey, I don't disagree. So
How's it going?
you're asking for people to call in, so I called in. And yeah, Hudson in the chat, call in too. Let's talk about it.
I'd love for him to, but
he's debating the whole chat. I don't know if he's Roman Catholic, but no, he started talking about how Arianism wasn't refuted by the church, and it's just craziness. Like this whole day, it seems like a lot of drama.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, you got to have a thick skin to be in this internet stuff. People, when I debated Mr. Adam Green, I got all kinds of weird threats, DMs on Twitter, Instagram, stalkers. It eventually passed, and people have short memory on the internet, but you do need to have a thick skin. If this stuff should not be impugning your religion, by the way. I'm going to base my theology on whether or not J. Dyer is manifesting, according to Sam. Like, that has nothing to do with anything. If you're not confident in your religion, then
please participate in your parish communities, folks. Have some peace, right? Live the faith, please. And yeah, I just heard about this drama from YouTube recommended this Protestant channel that's pretty bad faith. He was just like, "Ooh, look at the Orthodox and the Catholic go at each other," and it's just rich, It's like,
I know,
it's so worldly.
each other forever. So
it's like the fasting just sort of ended, and it's like people, I get all that pent up stuff, right? Everyone's like, "Oh, I won't debate during Lent." Now it's all coming out, right? So, I like I said in the chat, I really used to like Sam when I was converting to Eastern Orthodoxy. I liked his apologetics too about Islam and stuff. But clearly, I always saw the guy had his own struggles and his own cross to carry. And yeah, the whole drama with his wife and kids, it's and he seems very online, right? Terminally. And I'm a pretty online guy, so.
So you're a netizen of the Bilad al Discord, you'd say?
I don't even use Discord, so.
Good.
But when I say I'm online, I watch a lot of YouTube. So
that's well, you know what, you proved yourself because you said to participate in the community life. I'm just going to start to play a bit of this, and then we can talk when I pause it. Let's just see I didn't watch all this. So Alex O'Connor refuted part 9. It's been 25 hours. I mean, I guess I shouldn't judge. I've dealt with cosmic septic a few times too.
You see the demons, right? You mean someone who struggles with a proclivity can't be saved? Then that means your mother should be thrown out of the Orthodox Church, and you got to be barred because you watch porn and you masturbate because you're an adulterous, fornicating pervert.
Okay, all right.
No,
but it does mean that you can be an official teacher with tens of thousands of followers.
Yeah,
dealing with a major issue. But a dude on YouTube, you can comment on stuff.
The lady. I saw this Orthodox channel. He talked about how there's the liturgical priesthood, the bishops that they have the authority to give you spiritual teaching, right? And then there's the laity, which is the second form of a priesthood, where we spread the good news, right? But we don't. When people come to us with these spiritual issues, you talk to your bishop, your priest. Sam Shamoun shouldn't be on a soapbox like that, and that's just my opinion. But who ordained him? Doesn't he I don't know what, but he doesn't really go to I don't want to say he doesn't go to church, but I know he changes a lot. So I don't know the community he's in, right? And that's the best judgment I can make.
Yeah, we don't know what your real life community is, so let's play a few more minutes of this, and then we'll see what else there is. Oh, we got another. That's one on Zaid. What's up? How's it going?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me figure out some technical stuff. I'll turn on my volume.
Okay. What do you want to talk about? All right, well, let's play this for a minute till this guy's back.
Gerard, he was, you stupid lying bastard.
Okay.
You are a whore like your mother. So I'm going to cuss you out. Yes, he was. I have the receipts. Come right now and join us. I have the receipts. Come right now. Here. That's why he was live and foaming. You filthy son of Satan, dude. You lying man worshiper. Stop lying. I'm going to cuss you guys out. I'm going to cuss you guys out. I'm warning you. Shut up. Go back to your daddy because now he has to debate. And here it is. Shut up. Right? Why is John calling me, brother? Brother, you know I'm live right now, right? Brother, I'm live.
Okay. Is there anything else that happens about Jay in this video or no? Because I'm getting a little
There
confused.
doesn't seem like it. I mean,
Oh wait, I do want to comment on this real quick.
Yeah.
It's my fault. It's me being loyal. Oh, really? They're not neutral? Don't worry, standing for truth. You see how God is mocking you, dogs, and humiliating you, dogs, you scum? You scum? And I'm going to be playing the clips of what the Eastern Orthodox patriarchs said about the Quran and Muhammad. I'm going to come after you, ortho queers.
Okay. So, all right, ortho queers, let's respond to him. So basically, he's saying that it's no different between Orthodoxy and the Vatican when it comes to the relation with Islam and Rabbinism. But that's not true for two reasons. Number one, Patriarch Kirill is not the leader of Russia, so Vladimir Putin is, and Putin's been way more humanist toward Islam and other religions than Kirill has. Kirill has criticized him for it. Now, if Kirill himself is personally involved in these endeavors, which I don't think there's any proof that he's involved in this specific building, but has he made comments that can be taken as pro-Islam? Yes. But unlike a pope or a see of cardinals or an existing seat of Peter in Rome, nothing he says is infallible. In fact, we had a patriarch of Constantinople and Alexandria. He had a dual patriarchate, Cyril Lucaris, who was straight up a Calvinist. He was an iconoclast. He denied the monarchy of the Father. He denied Orthodox Christianity as a whole and believed in the Calvinist version of predestination and everything. James, I'm just going to mute you for 1 second because we're getting some feedback. So we already had this kind of stuff before, and it's not the end. It's actually very far from the end. So, okay, we had Zaid. I'm going to let you on, and then Father Joe's going to come on as well. What's up, Zaid? What do you want to talk about?
Howdy. I only saw a couple of your videos, specifically the one I saw you on Dyer, his stream, and then I saw your video talking about the Arab people and the vast history that comes with that. I'm a catechumen right now of the Orthodox Church. Hopefully going to be baptized this Pascha. I've been watching Dyer for quite a long time because I'm not as theologically inclined as I'd like to be, and he's been a great assistance when it comes to understanding these things. It sucks that Sam. I saw a bunch of comments talking about this, but they mentioned how it's like watching two divorced parents fight each other with Sam and Jay.
Yeah.
I watched when those two, I don't know who they were up against, but it was Jay and Sam up against a Muslim. Two Muslims,
It was a fresh and fit debate.
Yeah, something like that. And they completely annihilated him.
Yeah.
So I what I've been thinking about is there's ecumenism, and whenever you see the words ISM at the end of a concept or ideology, you know that involves doctrine, right?
Yep.
And I know that Orthodoxy doesn't have the doctrine of ecumenism, but there is such thing as being ecumenical. And I've been trying to figure that out in my journey into Orthodoxy about where the line is drawn between embracing ecumenism, where you're just calling Jews and Muslims your brothers and sisters in faith, that sort of thing, versus being polite and being courteous some kind of shared faith along those lines, right?
Right. Well, let me give you an answer on that real quick. Coptic concept. I do have to correct you on that. That doesn't really matter because all of his writings have been anathematized. So him being an authority figure, whether or not he's canonized specifically to Alexandria, which is different than the rest of the EO tradition, he is not. His writings are not accepted by anybody. And then we have a few other people. I'll let you guys in a second. But yeah, I agree with you there. So Zaid, basically, I would just say that the main thing to be aware of is that if someone's being civil to us, we should return that civility. If they start to mock our beliefs, we're under no obligation to respect them and their fake beliefs and their fake gods. And we're absolutely under no obligation to lie about God to make other people feel better. Okay? So in the past,
half of my closest friends are both Roman Catholic and Protestant. That's their background. So, and I come from a Lutheran background, and then I was discovering all these different churches, and then embracing Orthodoxy with J. Dyer, sort of taking the lead and understanding the theological side of things. That's been a struggle, but it's also having Protestant friends, having Roman Catholic friends has allowed me to figure out where the actual line is between, right, being ecumenical versus ecumenism.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. You can keep talking. I just want to start to let people in because it's starting to pile up. Okay, welcome back, Father Joseph Swaydon of NFTU True Orthodox. What's going on?
Man, I called in with a point, and now like the whole ecumenism discussion is like I'm not.
Well, what comments do you have specifically on the Sam versus Jay spat?
Well, I mean, I was watching the Crucible last night when some of that kind of went down, and the simple reality is I don't think Sam and William, because William has kind of become his like little demon on his shoulder. I don't think that either of them want a moderator. Because they love to talk over people. They're very good at that. That is their number one debate technique, and that would be the one thing stopped by a moderator. So the second the moderator was mentioned, the second the Crucible was mentioned, it was like, oh yeah, wait. Then they realized, wait. We don't want a moderator. That's the truth. That's what this is all really basically about.
So would you say that you think Sam and William are just trying to poison the well so that we all forget about any kind of debate and move on?
Well, or create some drama, which unfortunately, I mean, I hate to say this, while Jay does do the drama thing a lot, I think he was baited into this. And unfortunately, I don't know. I have a very low opinion of the whole thing, and the only other thing I can think is that they're trying to create hype for a debate they'll eventually agree to, which is possible and also sad. So that's all my thoughts. I'm going to stay away from all the other ones.
I do want to say something about that. Being a catechumen from the outside looking in, this shit's goofy. Not gonna lie. And James, I know you mentioned that you said having a mastery, like you said, having a mastery of these theological intricacies is not required because, I don't know, divine simplicity, experiencing the Lord as he is.
I think I saw a comment here that said the possible moderator contacted is a neutral platform. Andrew's not neutral. That's why. What
about the MDD guy? Modern day debate? Is he neutral?
I mean, I would say Andrew's neutral. I think it's an excuse. I've been on debates on the Crucible on positions that other people, won't name names, didn't want me to be on, and Andrew was willing to take it. I think that's a lie. It's an excuse, and I think honestly, Sam and his little buddy on his shoulder, they should be ashamed of themselves.
What were you going to say, Zaid? You said something about being
from the outside looking in. I come from a military background as well. So to me, and I know that something that was new to me in discovering orthodoxy is that politics and spirituality are not to be separated from one another. It's mostly impossible, because even the secularists, even the atheistic types, they will make idols and they will make gods of other things. If it's not directly spirits or a different, not different spirituality, but other religions, other gods, then they will make it of material, right? So I very quickly realized that if spirituality is not to be distinguished from politics, and that includes war, from an outsider looking in at debate and apologetics, I do roll my eyes quite often at it. I understand the necessity for it, and that is J. Dyer's realm of apologetics. However, I'm sitting there watching these 3-hour debates, 3-hour or 2-hour streams, and I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, but the thing is, does any of this matter if people's lives
Well,
are
it
at
can
stake?
matter up. It can matter up to an extent. It can matter for a while when you really need to
Yeah.
find something out or you're confused. But some people do just turn it into like entertainment. So Zayd, I don't mean to cut you off, but there are a lot of people waiting. So I'm gonna cut you loose just for now. But
Sweet.
thank you very much for calling in.
See ya. Peace.
All right, bromance over. What's up?
What's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, how's it going?
Oh man, this is absolutely just the worst thing ever, man. I've learned so much from you, from Jay, from Sam, only to see them just like completely fall out. And it's weird because I'm certain Sam Shamoun's well aware of the energies and what that implies, and yet he's still gonna blaspheme it.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know if Sam knows what those imply, because when he was going against Christian V. Wagner and all the Thomists, he seemed to really not be familiar with the metaphysics, which is okay, but this is where you're going to run into the big problems. If you don't know the metaphysical stuff and you only know scripture at its reading. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, he said he was going to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. Like, Sam didn't seem to know that the metaphysics of Thomism doesn't allow him to keep his theophany theology, and that's where you're going to run into a lot of problems. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, doesn't Basil 2:3-4 say the same thing? Like, the energies exist, they come down to us. I don't know what Sam's thinking, man. I'm stressed.
It's weird. Either this is theater on their part, on the William Albrecht side, or William is trying to manipulate this into a debate, and Sam just doesn't know the philosophical, metaphysical stuff. So he doesn't know why this is a problem. But it's still inexcusable to mock energies and to call people ortho queers and stuff like that. It's like,
yeah, and you know what's funny? I'll tell you something that's interesting. I'm seeing a lot of like Russian named people saying, Sam, we are with you until the end, but if you go against the Orthodox brother and the Orthodox theology, this is the end. Like, dude, you do realize, unless you're going to use ad hominems, if you attack J. Dyer, you are attacking orthodoxy. Like, if you attack the actual like theology itself, you are, in a way they're inseparable in that sense. Unless you just attack his person, then cool, go ahead. But yeah.
I agree with you. It's not like Jay's the infallible patriarch or anything, but if you're going to attack Jay because of the energies or something else, then yeah, you will be attacking orthodoxy. Coptic concept, okay. Welcome in. How's it going?
Jim, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
What's going on?
Before you say anything, let's try to keep it on the topic of Sam and Jay stuff, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's on the topic of Jay, not necessarily related to the essence energies, but I just wanted to talk about when we're speaking about J. Dyer, okay, and we're talking about, Christians who are supposed to be like representing the Christian faith. And some people, there is that J. Dyer cult that follows everything of what he says. And I don't want to have it from a purely emotional or personal perspective. But if we're going to be uncomfortable with language of Sam calling, ortho bros, ortho queers or whatever, J. Dyer has arguably said much worse. And not just to other Christians, but to like martyrs, for example. Like I think a lot of the time, like people forget how Jay Dyer acts as a human being. When he talks about Copts, this is going to be biased on my end, obviously, but when he tweeted out saying, "It's strange some of you are calling Copts martyrs. Apparently, the miraculous does not extend to recognizing staged video footage." Like that's on his Twitter. Okay, that's just one example, and it's not supposed to be just from a purely emotional perspective, but Jay Dyer's not. That is not Christian behavior. So if we're gonna call out Sam for saying whatever he says, you have to call out Jay Dyer, who has arguably done much worse.
Well, here's the thing, Coptic, or Copt. I mean, your name was Coptic Concept, that's why I said that. But here's the thing. The reason I don't, number one, is because I actually don't keep up with most of the stuff that he says. So I'm sure you're not lying, and I'll go look for that tweet.
I have the screen, and it's still, just let you know, he's done much worse than that. And no one brings this up for some reason.
Let me answer why that is. I wouldn't care if Sam was just calling him, like as I have here on the wallpaper, I'm making fun of the barking, manifesting stuff. If all he was doing is saying, Jay, I don't like you as a person, bark, bark, manifest, I really wouldn't care. But when we start going after all of orthodoxy and saying, hey, essence energy is stupid and your theologies are wrong, and then on top of that, you add the funny barking, manifesting stuff, then I'm gonna weigh in. But if it was just two people who are arguing about personality issues, then I wouldn't really, I wouldn't care that much. But the theology part is the most important. So saying that, for example, the Protestants, what started it was, do the Protestants have better Old Testament arguments than the Catholics? Well, whether that answer is yes or no, the Orthodox have the superior answers for the Old Testament. And then that's where the back and forth came from. And this is also about a debate between them with William Albrecht somehow involved. So that's why I'm commenting on it, not because it's a personality.
No, I understand. It's just, I think sometimes people kind of just ride the Jay Dyer wave and they really don't understand. As a Christian, regardless if you're Orthodox or whatever you are, if you're not actually practicing what you believe in, you're worshiping philosophy. You're worshiping the theology. You're not actually worshiping God. That's just the issue that I always see with this stuff.
Right. Well, I agree that you do need to literally be experiencing the religion in order to comment. Guys, if you're trying to join and there's not enough room, I don't pay for this website, so it only allows me 7 people. So just give it a few minutes. But yeah, I do agree with that sentiment. But again, I'll say that not like in defense of whether the video is staged or not. That obviously I don't believe that. But in terms of the word martyr, the Eastern Orthodox Church has a very strict.
I understand that, but regardless, to go out and you're representing Eastern Orthodox Christianity, and that's what you're tweeting out, is that Christian behavior? And like, it's a black and white, so there's no gray. You can say they're not martyrs because of the Christological understanding, the no salvation outside of the church. Okay, that's fine, but the difference is how you're representing the faith at the end of the day.
Yeah, I understand your frustration.
Yeah.
So I would agree.
That's all I have to say.
That
I just want to bring it up because one brings this stuff up for some reason.
Thanks for bringing that up, but I do want to clarify. I was only mentioning this stuff because of the theological component. So, yeah, I mean, whether or not Sam calls people a demon or a dog or whatever, the mocking of the theological stuff is the most important. So I don't get involved in tit-for-tat stuff, other than the fact that it's kind of humorous. So I get your sentiment. I understand why you said that. So thanks for calling in. Do you have any other topics you want to bring up before I let the next people in?
No. God bless you guys. Just always keep an eye out, guys. I know you guys are Eastern Orthodox or whatever you are, but I really think sometimes we just focus on these debates, and they're important. All of this is important, but what are we worshiping at the end of the day? That's what you have to keep in mind.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Coptic Concept. And I believe he has a Twitter as well. I'm just removing you to make some room for the people. All right. Dan, you asked to call in. How's it going?
Hello. So I sent the super chat. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I sent the super chat asking about like how people who may not understand the deep philosophical and theological complications when it comes to denominations and how they can participate in the sacraments, right? So like I have emailed and tried to contact Eastern Orthodox priests hours away from my location, and there's Roman Catholic churches where I live.
Yeah.
I joined the church as a Protestant and was under the influence of, things like the iconoclastic, implications of Protestantism, where it's like, Rome and Orthodoxy are away from the truth. And I started to learn about that stuff through Sam, and eventually discovered people like Jay Dyer and heard all the arguments. And I realized that Protestantism was pretty far from the truth. But not being able to participate in an Eastern Orthodox Church, particularly being, influenced by people like Jay's arguments, it's kind of confusing for someone like me, new to the faith, how I can participate in the sacraments without just having to go to Roman Catholicism and then internally battle things like the papacy.
Yeah, so I would definitely say that you do not want to do two things at once. So what I mean by that is, even if there's an Orthodox church that's very far away, Orthodoxy does not really want you to go, well, I don't have one here, so I'm going to go to a Catholic church, but then
Right.
also battle with EO stuff. So what I would do for anybody who's considering this, not to get involved in super deep stuff, but focus on what is the foundation of the faith. And so I outlined that when you asked the super chat. I don't think everybody has to know everything, but the main outlines are going to be on, how do we understand the bare basics of the Trinity? Who's the one God? What is the main purpose of our life? And how do we live out our religion? Those are the three main differences. You shouldn't have to be doing 9-hour debates on whether Vatican I relates to the papacy in the year 958 or something. So that's my advice. I wouldn't make it super complicated, because for me, you have to believe, and I think for everybody, you have to believe in a whole system. So if you accept the founding points of a religion, you have to accept the rest. You can't just pick and choose stuff. So I hope that helps.
Well, yeah, but it's like, based on that, how do I apply my faith, right? It's like, do I join the Roman Catholic Church because it's close? And then, so if I can only go, once or twice a month to the Eastern Orthodox Church because it's hours away, is that what I should just sacrifice and do that?
Yeah, that's better. It's better to go to the Orthodox Church less often than to just spiritually compromise and go to the Catholic Church every single day. So God doesn't want us to go to wrong churches out of convenience. That's my answer.
All right. I appreciate that.
Even if you only went to the Orthodox Church once every 2 months, just once every 2 months,
that
would still be better. Yeah.
I appreciate your comments.
Yeah, I used to travel to my church. It would take me about 2 hours when I first became a catechumen. I'm about to get baptized next week myself. And if I do recall, I do remember Jay Dyer in one of his streams saying that if you do live too far, you can look online for your local bishop. You can message him, and through dialogue with him, they will figure something out. They might even come to you even. So it just depends, because there was a guy in Latin America who had to do that. So it can happen via that. You just have to reach out.
Yeah, so I have a friend of mine who's in a certain Muslim country, not going to give specifics, and he's physically unable to go to any church, much less whether it's Oriental Orthodox or Eastern Orthodox. Wouldn't make a difference because there aren't any churches he can physically go to. And he has done the very thing that you just mentioned. Discuss a bishop, one who's far away or nearby, and they will solve it for you. It might take longer. You might have to go through more hoops depending on where you live. But it is still better to do that.
Okay. And then on that topic, right, a lot of my instruction, right, whether, I understand that officially joining the Eastern Orthodox Church would require being catechized, right? Well, a lot of the things I learned were through Sam, just by chance, right? Just going on YouTube and researching, Christianity. I ended up finding Sam and learning a lot through him before being introduced to the arguments from Jay. So, like he mentioned, it's like, who ordained Sam to teach? That's a good argument based on the arguments he presents. So it's like, should I stop listening to Sam, or should I do as Sam says, right, and chew the meat and spit out the bones?
Well, that's the thing. When Sam says that, he's trying to sound like St. Augustine. Because St. Augustine said, hey, I don't know everything that the Greek fathers wrote. I'm sure they're in line with what I'm saying, but if they aren't, you should agree with them, not me. So if Sam's doing a video on Islam or Judaism, or since he believes in the Theophanies anyway, and he's going to do one of that, I'm sure they'll be fine to listen to what he's saying. But if he's going to do a video about whatever topic and it deeply contradicts Orthodox theology, then obviously no. So that's would be my advice. I'm not telling you you're not allowed to watch Sam's stuff. Just know what the limits are and what some of his disagreements and problems are.
Right. All right. I appreciate that, and ultimately that would be up to the authority of a spiritual father or bishop or priest, right? So that's probably something I should discuss with them once I'm actually in contact. So thank you guys for your comments and advice, and God bless you all.
You too. Good luck on everything. Hope to hear back from you soon. All right. Who else? Based prawn. I'm allergic to shrimp, so I'm not letting you in. I'm kidding. You don't have a mic, so call in again. Alex the Copt. We have another Copt. How's it going, Mr. Copt?
Hey, Gene. I was wondering if you can do a video on why you're not an Oriental Orthodox. Or
I suppose I could do a video on that.
Because, like, I mean, I don't see you, like, engaging a lot with Orientals. I was just kind of wondering, like, why you're not an Oriental. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing is, I only engage with stuff that I find to be deeply, deeply opposed and problematic to Orthodox way of life. Now, so the Oriental theology, Miaphysite Christology, that doesn't really have an impact on most global Orthodox Christians' lives. But stuff like online Thomism, liberal Roman Catholicism, Protestant theology, those have a real impact on Eastern Orthodox, whether they're diaspora or not. Whereas other than online back and forth stuff, which isn't that common in the first place, I don't see like some big war, whether by words or by force, between OO and EO. So that's why I don't really bother with the topic. And one of my close friends, the guy I mentioned who's in the Muslim country, he's an inquirer into the Oriental Church, and he and I get along great, even though we have some minor disagreements. So I just haven't found it to be super relevant for me to bring up. And more importantly, I haven't mastered that topic of the Christology. So I wouldn't be the master to discuss on that. Did he leave? What happened with that?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. But I used to be Oriental myself, and I left because, I'll be honest, I couldn't answer the simple question of, is Christ's nature uncreated or created? I know that sounds so simple, but when you have a composite nature, it does make that question impossible.
Yeah, I'd have to read more into it. The only reading I've ever done on OO versus EO stuff is just Kelly's book on early Christian doctrine. So just kind of the bare basics. So I'd have to do a lot more, but I'll take your word for it on that. I'll definitely look at that topic in some more
I would
depth.
say a good YouTube channel who also does debates sometimes, and I will admit he's very intelligent. It's called Apostolic Orthodoxy. And I have been actually given the Miaphysite position a better chance because I may have actually left it prematurely. So I don't think I'm going to go back to it. I just think that the terminology seems a bit off to me personally. But I do have, like you, I'm the most charitable towards them out of all other Christians, to be fair.
Okay. Yeah, very good to hear. If Christian wants to call in. How's it going, Christian? What's up?
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Nice. Just wanted to talk a little bit about like the essence and energies distinction.
Okay.
Like, how does that work with the Eucharist? Because if we're eating the Eucharist, are we eating the essence or are we eating the energies? And how does that work?
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, you're not consuming the essence in the Eucharist. Other than how does the energies play a role in that? I would have to read more into that myself, just being honest with you, but I'm pretty certain you're not consuming the essence via the Eucharist. Hope that helps.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. So because I've heard like the analogy with the sun. I don't know if that's a heretical analogy, but
I think you can use that one. I've heard it used a lot. Just be careful how you use it so that it doesn't sound kind of weird, but I think that analogy is not terrible.
Do
they? What do you think? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Christian.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, what do you think of this whole Sam versus Jay stuff? That's what we got started on.
I think personally, I think Sam has lost his mind a little bit. I don't think Jay is entirely like innocent or anything. I mean, obviously, I've seen them both talk. I've seen both parts. Seems more like there's a little bit of baiting going in. Jay's not really giving in to it entirely, but he has, and I think they're just kind of feeding this thing maybe to get a debate going. But I don't know. I think Sam's lost his mind, and I thought it was very disrespectful to God to mock the energies. I thought that was did not expect that.
Oh, guys, I'm gonna have to empty out the chat just a little. James, do you mind if I kick you for now, and then you can always call back a little bit if you like. All right, thanks very much. Yeah, I mean, I like the other person said, this may or may not be a baiting thing. This may be real. This may not be real. But if it becomes a debate, I of course would love to watch, and I'd love to call in. And if the offer is there, I'd love to be a part of it. But maybe I'm overstepping a little. Welcome. How's it going?
Yo, how's everyone doing? What's going on, man?
How much?
Hey, congrats on 150 plus views. This is 220. Yo, he's doing it, lads. He's doing it.
There we go.
He's getting the recognition he deserves, man. Get him to 500, please, bro.
Looks like you got yourself a hype man.
Yeah. Come on,
how's
bro.
it
He
going?
deserves it. Hey, listen, bro. It's going well, bro. It's going well. You know what I'm saying? Just Holy Week has been killing me, bro. What? Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. It's so mad. How's the fast going for everyone else here, man? How is it going?
It's going great.
Could be better. Hard, but good.
Yeah, literally, man. It's just, bro. Because I'm Nigerian, they basically said, yeah, you see all your traditional food? Yeah, you cannot munch that. I said, pardon?
I relate. I'm Nigerian too.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I asked my priest, I asked priest, I was like, yo, what's the restrictions, bro? He was like, yeah, no meat. I said, cool, okay, fine, no meat. He said, no fish. I said, okay, no fish, okay. Half of the stuff is fish, it's fine. Then he said, oh, yeah, no dairy. I said, pardon? I said,
no fish for you now.
no fish, no dairy. I said, say no more. He then asked, I said, okay, cool, I can do that. Okay, I'm lactose intolerant anyways. I'm black, blah, blah, blah. Father then asked, Father then says, oh, yeah, one more thing. No oil. I said, excusez-moi. I promise you, I've never spoken French a day in my life. I said, pourquoi? I don't even know what to say. I was surprised. Yeah, I said, Father, I can't do it. I need a column. He said, shut up. I said, I need economia. He said, sharp and dribble. I said, pardon? I said, Father, please, I'm not strong enough. Please, I'm weak. He said, I don't care. Be strong. I said, I'm sorry. I started crying, bro. I was too weak, bro.
Is this your first one?
Are you sick?
Yeah, I'm sick. Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, I've seen you on Speaker's Corner. Yeah, you're great, dude.
Bro. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Someone said it's been long since the last Jeem. The thing is, Jeem is like on another level, bro. I be watching this guy streams. He convinced me empiricism might be the truth, bro. I said, what? I saw the video and he said, yeah, empiricism is true. I said, pardon?
There you go. No, most people got to take a double take with that one because, like, you know, the way I use that word, but still.
And that's the thing. Like, I was like, there's no way. And then I watched the video. I was like, it makes sense. It makes sense, bro. Yeah. So sub to Gene, bro. I love him. Love the content. Love what he's doing, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Love yours too, man. Right back at you.
I appreciate you.
So
what do you think of the topic? Jay and Sam, what's your hot take?
You see my hot take? I'm not gonna lie, bro. Everyone's saying, oh, Jay Dyer's gonna win, Sam's gonna lose, or this and that. Can we just analyze like how this even happened, guys? This is historic. Bear in mind, Jay Dyer and William have been doing the shuffle, the jingle for 6 years now. Since 2019, they've been avoiding and doing and avoiding debate. Okay, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. They've been going back and forth. Come to us now For some reason, Sam Shamoun said, "Yeah, Jay Dyer, you're gay." I said, "Wait, what?"
I was watching that before, literally just before I came on.
Chat, you have to understand. Imagine my shock. Imagine my shock when I see that the impetus of this debate was the fact that Sam Shamoun, for no reason at all, other than the fact that Jay Dyer likes to wear tropical shirts, he just said, "Yeah, you're a queer." I said, "Pardon?"
He said ortho queers. We're ortho
You're
queers.
ortho queer. And you know how to search up what queer means.
That's what he says. He says we're ortho queers now.
Oh, you're guessing. I said, wait, so the whole wife, but he's a queer. I said, there's no way. I said, there's no
No,
way.
he's called Gay Dyer. Gay Dyer.
Gay Dyer. No,
Gay
I'm
Dyer.
stealing that one. Gay
That's what
Dyer.
he was
I'm
calling
stealing
him.
that.
That's what he was calling him the whole time. Gay Dyer.
Hey, you know the funniest thing about this whole thing, bro? It's that Jay Dyer has been insulted for the past 6 years about like all manner of things. So it's gotten to the point now that he like what he needs to do is grade each insult. Like, you know, Gay Dyer, pretty creative. I'm not gonna lie, swap the J with a G. That's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Keep pushing.
They
The
had
other
Jay
one that they
Dyad. The Jay
Jay
Dyad.
what?
Jay Dyad. Thomas.
Jay
said that one.
Dyad. That's pretty good. Dyad is pretty good.
Not
Dyad
bad.
is pretty good.
Not bad.
Bad at all. I feel like someone needs to like create a full name for him, because I don't think any of us know his full name. Like I know his first name is Jay, but like that's not the way he was born. Like he wasn't born Jay. Like he's got a full name. You know what I mean? He's got a full name. It's not Jay. It's probably something like. Do you know what I mean? So
I don't know. I have a friend called Jay. That's his full name.
I think his name is Jeremy. So like if someone said Jeremy Dyer, there you go. See, that's higher. That's B grade insult, because he's gonna be like squint like, why do you call me Jeremy? Like he's not gonna understand the level of the insult. He won't understand the intricacies of what's going on. It's so fluff, it's so left field. He will think I'm the historian. It's crazy. So this is
Man, I never knew you were this funny, dude.
No, I'm not even funny, bro. Bro, you know what's
Bro
crazy,
needs
bro?
his own show.
Bro, someone came to bro. I promise you, someone came into my stream. They were like, "Ah, Sig, I heard your EO." I said, "What of it?" They said, "Yeah, I'm unsubbing." I said, "So the only reason you subbed to me was because I wasn't Orthodox." Great job, man. Love it, guidance.
I actually didn't know you were Orthodox.
The thing is, so here's where I am right now, right? I basically just don't tell people what I am, because best case scenario, they basically say, "Oh, I hate your content. You're always biased anyways." Worst case scenario, they love me and they're like, "Oh, wow, you've been preaching the Orthodox truth." And then they put me up like I'm some flipping pious scholar, leader of the Orthodox Church online. And then conversations are going to have to be had with the spiritual father. Why? Because I'm going to have to confess pride. I can't do it. It's too impious. Please let me live. It's peak. Someone came and asked me, you know what's crazy? Someone had a message. Yeah, they messaged me in private, G. I don't know if you've ever got this. Half of my messages are like, "Ah, Sig, like, thank you for all the content." The other half of my messages, there was a message someone gave me. They were like, "Ah, Sig, I'm having a problem with so and so. Like, how do I solve this problem?" I said, wait, you're a catechumen. Okay, so does your spiritual father know you watch my videos? He said, no, I'm just asking a question. My priest isn't smart. I said, that's not my place. That's not my place. Please go to your priest.
Dude, that's the problem with the online. That's the problem with the online. People treat this live stream. They're gonna treat the live stream almost like confession. Hang on one second. My friend Two Crooks is here. How's it going, Crook?
Doing good. It's nice to see things get a little more lighthearted after how things were charged a few minutes ago.
What do you think of the whole situation, man?
I just want cooler heads to prevail, man, and for name calling like orthoqueers to not happen. That's just really immature.
See, you know, the fact that you even raised that point. Number one, you're piety signaling. Number two, you're gay. So I don't really care about your opinion, G. So here's what we're gonna do, right? Number one, you're gonna repent from your homosexuality. I've never seen you. I'm just gonna say repent from your homosexuality. Number two, you're just not pious, bro. You're impious, bro. You know what I'm trying to say? Submit to Rome and keep it pushing, bro. Mum's life. That's it, bro.
Instructions unclear. I just became gay, man.
There you go. You made him gay.
See, now you're gay. Now the only thing you need to do now is see the orb. The orb needs to flash across the screen.
People
As
keep
soon as
saying
the
that they
orb,
see him in this kitchen. I have a cat, so maybe his hair is like flying through. That's the orb.
nah, bro. You know the problem
Probably
is
a
with the cat.
software.
Does the
All
cat
I
need
think,
to repent?
I just think that I think honestly, Sam Shamoun's news is so open, bro. He's just seeing solar flares just randomly out the wazoo, bro. He's just seeing quantum fluctuations just coming out of nowhere. I genuinely think the news is so pure. He's actually seen the uncreated light. You cannot tell me the guy seen light. He said he saw physical, touchable light, and he said, "Yeah, that's the glory of God." This is Barnum.
Do you think
This
he's
is
tasting
Barnum.
it too? He can
He
taste the
said,
light.
he
There could be a
said there's
flavor.
physical light that passes through the air, and he said that light is the light of God. Lads, this is
It's an
Barnum.
angel. Calls
This
it an
is
angel.
Barnum. Wait, guys, I don't think you understand what I'm saying, bro. Like, you know, in the Synodicon of Orthodoxy, one of
Yeah.
the heresies in the Synodicon is Barnamism. You understand? You know what Barnum believed? This, I can't say the N word. What I was about to say. This guy, Barnum, you know what he believed? He believed that bear in mind, the uncreated light of God, the glory of God. He said the uncreated light passes through the air and is physically touched. I said, are you mad?
That's hey, who knows? Maybe that's where he got it from. You
That's
might
the
be onto
orb.
something here.
That's
You
the
might be
orb,
onto something
bro.
here.
Dude, he can
He's
feel the
onto it,
light.
bro.
He can taste the light. He can hear the light.
Bro, he said that he could say wagwan to it. He said he could spud the light. He said that he could go on a 1v1 and do a fadeaway against the light. This is mad. This is mad.
It is probably, in all seriousness, though, it is probably actually some kind of a spiritual condition. Like some people were saying, I don't know personally. Maybe this could all just be
Right.
theatrics for the YouTube show. Like this could just be the persona for the show. It might all just not be real at all, or it could be the sign of like spiritual unwellness. You know.
So this is crazy, bro. By the way, yeah, we all know that. Racism, we don't play. We know racism is a sin in orthodoxy, blah, blah, blah. But, right, what I also don't like is when you accuse someone of being racist when they're actually not. Now, I've actually done this in the past,
Yeah.
bear in mind, okay? This is when, if you guys remembered when Jay debated Sai, who's one of my friends, right?
I watched all of that
I watched
too.
I watched the debate. And at the time, I called him racist. Why? Because this is what I saw. But then afterwards, someone gave me information that he's like, no, he's not being racist. He actually is referring to another context of a joke, which I was not aware of. So I said, listen, man, I'm sorry, innit? Why? Because if you make the wrong call publicly, you have to address it publicly. That's just the way things go. That's the way things go. Now,
That's
to continue with
accountability.
that, it's accountability, bro. Listen, I've been wrong many times, bro. I've been right. So number one, don't apologize if you didn't do anything wrong. But number two, bro, you have to have the courage to say sorry. So I was like, bro, sorry, innit? My bad. Cool. Now, I didn't say this to Jay's face, so I didn't have to apologize to his face. I had to apologize to the public because I made it public. So that's what I did. And so, yeah, he wasn't racist. But now that it's happening to Jay again, you take 5 minutes, you pause, and you check, you think, okay, is he being racist? Cool. Let's see. They're now saying that Jay said the N-word. We've gone from, you're gay and your marriage sucks. We've gone from you're gay and your marriage is trash to you're racist and you said the N-word with the hard ER. I said, wow.
Wasn't it a fake
this
account?
is great.
It was a fake
wasn't
account.
Him. It wasn't him.
Yeah.
It was probably just like an author's bag, which is like a section within like the subculture of Orthodoxy online of people that are like degenerate, that like stay online more than they actually do prayers. Not even go to church.
Author bros, isn't it?
They're what people think author bros are. Listen, you see me, I just call my group the Mandem, innit? That's what I call my group. The Mandem. That's it. The Mandem. It's so simple, bro. It's so simple, bro. We try to do our joke. And because obviously, like, I feel sorry for you Americans because you guys can't go to church as frequently. Like, we're able to go to church like pretty much every day if we can. Like almost every day, there's like either like a Compline or a Vespers. You know what I'm trying to say? There's always something on. Like in London, especially, bro. There's always something on that you can do. So there's always a time that you can confess. There's always a time that you can go liturgy. There's always a time that you can have a coffee hour after these services. So you're always plugged in. Like half the time that I'm not on stream, I'm actually in church. Like I hope you guys understand that. I'm either in church reading or in church having a laugh. Like, bro, I'm gonna show you my fit for tomorrow. Hold on, guys. Wait. Let me turn on my camera real quick. Hold on, because
Watch him have the most goofiest outfit.
I'm serious, bro. Tomorrow is Lazarus Saturday, and I'm getting dressed for the part. You have to understand, I'm getting dressed for the part. Okay.
Let's see.
Wait,
The costume.
before I show you, wait, do you guys have fits that you're gonna wear for Lazarus Saturday and Palm Sunday?
I got stuff I'm gonna wear, but I haven't
Probably
it out
not.
yet.
See what you mentioned about being lucky about going to church. In my area in Canada, there's like nothing. In this part of Toronto I live in, there's no Orthodox.
Why, like, I don't have any animosity towards people that like are crashing out on like theology and stuff, because like, bro, you don't pray. That's okay, bro. It's cool. I'm not saying I'm pious. I have to pray because I'm really impious. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm very impious. Like, guys are like,
more people gotta admit that. More people have to admit that too.
Bro, I told guys, yeah, they were like, oh, Sig, like, I look up to you so much. I said, why are you looking up to me? I'm 5'3". I'm 5'3". Why are you looking up to me? Brother, I'm impious, bro. I'm actually, bro, I had to say it with a hard P. I'm impious, bro. Please don't watch my content, bro. There's actual saints for a reason, innit? And I said, bro, when you come to my channel, bro, number one, make sure your priest and spiritual authorities know you watch my videos. As a fact, please. And I said this in my in my videos, I have a disclaimer. Like, make sure your priests know that you watch my videos. Number two, if you are gonna watch my videos, please don't copy my behavior. My behavior is not emulatable for like orthodoxy, bro. Because if I do something bad on the internet, I can personally go and confess that. And this is what people don't tell you. I can go and personally confess that. Cool, it's confessed, it's gone. But the action itself remains online. And it will stay there forever.
It's recorded, and then people can quote it forever, you know.
Right. And so this is why, like, it's the internet is this unprecedented evil in some ways, you know, like, it's really bad because your sins as well as your piety as well is like still there. But like, man, sometimes it can be bad, bro. But anyways, I got way off topic. I was gonna show you guys my outfits, but is this
the outfit? And then I'm gonna read out some of this gay
hold on,
flyer.
give me a second, bro. Give me, let me cook though. I know what I'm doing, bro. Hold on. Let me turn on my camera. Cause I had to put the mask on real quick, innit? Cause I'm trying to be pious. Hold on, let me.
Oh boy.
Can you man see me? Can you man see me?
We're not giving the UK blacks a good look here. You got your mask. I got my hoodie up.
Hold on. I'm coming right now, bro.
I had no idea he was this funny. My lord.
Jim can confirm.
You know what is native, right? You know native.
Yeah.
I'm wearing native to Lazarus Saturday tomorrow. This is my native gear, bro. All blue, bro.
Look at the attire, bro. 1 second, guys. 1 second. Brooks, what were you saying?
Yeah, I was just saying, for like representing looks, don't worry, Jim can confirm he's the most Arab-looking Arab to ever Arab, so he's representing them well.
I'll rep, man. I'll rep. Show us, man.
See what I'm saying? This is the fit, lads. This is what's going on. This is the blue. And I'm wearing the blue on the Lazarus Saturday to symbolize the glory of Lazarus' resurrection. And I'm wearing purple on Palm Sunday.
My lord, you have it
purple
all.
Palm Sunday. Alliteration. Get to know. It's a purple Palm Sunday.
Wow, look at all these posts, though. Look at all these posts. We have first this one. Gay.
You gotta read it in his voice, though.
Okay.
You have to read it in his voice.
I can't do the voice. I told you I was gonna bury your dog, Gay Friar, and his little puppies, the Ortho sisters.
That one's good. That one's cold. That's cold though. That's a good insult. I like
Gay
that.
liar,
That's getting better. It's getting better, bro. It's getting...
Gay liar. You were barking like a dog at the Muslimin, and then we have Ali Dawa. Okay. Gay liar again. Gay liar again. Jesus. And Ortho sisters, nonstop. I'll check out I'm going to read some of these out. So guys, I don't have too much time left, but I do want to let in my friend Based Prawn, and then I'm going to have to go. So I'm going to let some of you guys loose so that I can let in Based Prawn, and then I'm going to end the streams. Thank you all for calling in. Definitely appreciate it.
Yeah. I'll definitely have to review this stuff. I'm just going to wait until like it simmers for a little bit, and I'm probably going to like...
I'll call into your show then.
Of course, bro. My show is just stupid anyways, bro. I don't even know why people like my content. It's actually...
You know why people like you, man. You're funny, blood, and you know your philosophy. You know your philosophy very well.
Appreciate it. You know what's
All right,
crazy?
guys.
I've been doing a bunch of stuff on Nigeria recently and Nigerian Orthodoxy. So you
I'll
guys
have
go
to check
it
that out myself.
You know
'cause
what? I'm
pretty
looking to do
underinformed
something
on
over
that.
there for that too. Sorry.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, man.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And I will let everybody. Two Crooks, do you have anything else you want to add before I let him base prawn?
Nah, I'm good. I'll just hang around if you want me to. Or
Oh yeah, hang around if you'd like.
Okay.
Prawn, where you at? Sorry, Prawn. I know you're waiting a while. Got a little caught up.
Nah, you all good, Gene. You all good, bro. I actually, it's funny enough, on one of my altar YouTube channels, I actually shouted you out on a challenge to debate you on Yek and hermeneutics. That was me the other day, bro. Nothing but respect, love for you, but it seems that there's, this is the topic you're streaming on. So I came in with a comment on this issue that is actually extremely essential and critical to this topic. So you probably don't want to do the Yek stuff. We can do that another time. But I wanted to add something essential to this combo. Is that cool?
Yeah, go ahead. And then after that, I'll read out some of Sam's posts and discuss them, and then the stream will be over. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's no problem, bro. Basically, I wanted to bring up the topic of sacramental rigorism, which is really, I think, one of the essential keys to this entire discussion. And I also want to say that when Sam talks about, ortho queers, he's probably talking about the orthospurg category that was brought up earlier. There's probably an overlap there. I don't think he's attacking you per se, and I think he has love for Jay. I really do think so. It's just things have gotten heated over things like what that Coptic fellow mentioned earlier, Jay, talking about the 21 Coptic martyrs who are deified and in paradise. I think that the key thing to recall is that this is related. Dyer's kind of circle is related to the Peter Here's kind of gang, which promotes this idea that there are no valid baptisms even outside of the Eastern Orthodox confession. When the objective fact, when you go and talk to the patriarchates, when you read their websites, when you actually study the canonical history and the saints' statements in totality, particularly the statements of bishops, which supersedes statements from simply pious monks like Justin Popovich or Elder Paisios, the statements of bishops who are saints actually supersede those statements because they actually have the canonical experience applying the canons to actually understand these questions. And when one actually seriously studies that in the way that Seraphim Hamilton have, other people have, Ubi, I think, other people that have made content about this, you'll understand that the Eastern Orthodox Church does in fact teach the existence of real valid sacraments outside of its own communion, baptism as well as holy orders. And of course, the existence of valid orders also means that the actual, other sacraments are also present in other communions. So if that's something you want to debate or discuss, we could do that. But I just want to say real quick that if one understands this fact, then all of these questions which scandalize the Gavin Ortlands of the world disappear, because we can say that yes, you do have a legitimate Trinitarian baptism. That's the basis on which you are accepted by chrismation, or that is the basis upon which certain Coptic priests, if they join Alexandria, are revested rather than ordained. And once you understand this, your conception of the church will not only transform, but will achieve its fullness, which is consistent with the teachings of people like Demetrius Daniloi, now Saint Demetrius Daniloi, who talks about ecclesial realities outside of the church, which is the Eastern Orthodox Church in the fullest sense. So that's as much as I'll say, but I'll yield or whatever.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for bringing that up. That does remind me another one of the subjects on my list to go over, of course. So I'm not the master, the gold standard. There are quite a few topics I'm good at, and then there's some that I just have not had the time to read into, and that's definitely going to be one of them. So I do appreciate you bringing that up. As for Jay's own position, I don't know if Jay, someone here, this Australian meme guy says, I don't think Jay holds Peter Here's position on baptism. I don't know if he does or doesn't. So I have no authority on that.
I've met Jay in a circumstance, like it was nice, but like it wasn't aggressive or anything. It was at a conference, but I don't want to like dox him or myself. And he told me that he doesn't accept Here's, neither does FDA. So these guys might not hold that position, but a lot of their fans do. A lot of their fans talk about how there is no grace or there is no sacramental validity outside of Eastern Orthodoxy. And of course, in its beauty, in its profundity, and in the grace and graciousness, and even interestingly, the humility of the Eastern Orthodox Church, even it condescends and says perhaps there really is validity inside the Coptic Eucharist. Now, it doesn't extend everywhere. There's a certain parameter upon which you can say groups have a high enough degree of ecclesiality, to use Stanilo's term, to where that becomes possible. It's not possible, for example, for Anglicans to have the Eucharist or to have valid holy orders, but it is for
Okay.
Orientals and for Uniates and stuff like that. So it's nuanced, but that's the basis for which the canonical norms of how Antioch, the Church of Antioch, for example, proceeds. The 1991 agreement between the Syriac and Antiochian Orthodox.
Yeah, I am brief. I'm very, very vaguely aware of that. So I will look into that, and then I'll also say it's a good thing that you're distinguishing between Jay's actual position and then the position of some of his followers. So there can be people who claim to be Dyerite worshippers or whatever, and then they hold something more extreme than anything Jay himself says. So I do appreciate you making that distinction. Like I said, I'm a novice on that topic, so I'll have to definitely read up on that. But thank you very much for calling in. Do you have any other subjects you want to bring up before?
No, just I'll pop back in one day to debate that stuff we were talking about. I think it'd be fun, and also get Agin on here, my boy Agin, the Apostolic Orthodoxy Oriental guy, because I think that we're all brothers, and I think that the churches must reunite.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for calling in, Mr. Shrimp.
Take care, bro.
Yep. Okay. I think we've gotten a little off topic, but that was fine. I just want to read some of Sam's stuff.
Sure.
Damn, gay liar. What are you saying, Two Crooks?
Nah, yeah, if you just want to read some of his stuff, I want to see how erratic it can be.
Okay. You were barking like a dog, like a hound at the Papists and the Musals worshiping the same God. Quotes Patriarchate of Alexandria. But who in the Patriarchate says that? I don't know. I guess. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's read that. He says, Muhammad's an apostle, a man of God. He's the father of all men. My God is the other God of other men. But again, is that dogmatically confirmed? Is that binding on all the church? Or is that the statement of somebody who's in a Muslim supermajority country and they may or may not make errors? So that's the question. Like somebody, like for example, the shrimp guy who was just here, based prawn, he mentioned Antioch. But it's well known that EO Antioch and Maronite Antioch and Syriac Antioch, Jacobite, have all been maybe a little too close with the intercommuning. That's been a common complaint from people who belong to, let's say, ROCO or something. I think David Erhan's mentioned it, and Jay Dyer himself has mentioned it before. So just because people in Antioch commune a lot with Eastern Catholics and Maronite Catholics and other types and the Oriental Orthodox doesn't mean that that's the binding position on the entire church. It's been known. Crooks, I'm sure you can relate. Like in Lebanon and other places,
yes,
Christians will just go wherever. Like they don't really care about the denomination.
Yes,
sometimes.
100%. I was exactly thinking that very point while you were mentioning it, because in Lebanon, for instance, if you are Orthodox, you might just go to any Orthodox church you see, but this can mean an Armenian Oriental Orthodox will go to an Arabic Eastern Orthodox church or to a Coptic Orthodox church because they hear the word Orthodox, and to them that's where it begins, that's where it ends. But other times you'll have them go to a Maronite church, they'll go to a Melkite church. I've been to pretty much everything all over, because in Lebanon, particularly these churches, they can be community centers to some extent, but there's this belief that, we are Eastern Christians, we are not Western Roman Catholics or Protestants, we are not the European Orthodox Christians from Russia, so surely we must all believe in the same things. And because the Eastern Catholics are a little more distinct from, say, the Latin Roman Catholics, they believe, we have the Pope, but surely we're closer in theology to the other Eastern Christians. That's what a lot of the mentality is for the lay people. And I think I mentioned this last year, but when I went to the United States, we went to an Armenian Apostolic Church, and a few of the guys there were Syrian Arabs, and I don't think there was a Syrian Arab Oriental Orthodox church. They weren't Assyrian, they were just full-on Arabs, so probably they would have been Eastern Orthodox. But to them, they're like, Armenians, they're Orthodox, pretty much my brothers and cousins, so I'm just going to go there, pray with them. I probably can't understand anything they're saying. Well, actually, not really. Half of the ceremony was in English, so you know how it goes. I
know what you're saying. Yeah, I've seen that before. TTT tells me I have to stop moving. thank you for commenting on the stream about the movement of my body. What are you, one of those Greek philosophers who's like, yeah, motion doesn't exist? I mean, but I do. So I just want to you guys need to know the cultural stuff, and I'm actually kind of shocked that Sam would say this because he comes from that same background, and he should know. He was born in Kuwait. A lot of Christians there intermingle because there's not 10 million churches every square foot. So that's just how it is sometimes in the Middle East. That doesn't really mean anything. This is in the 1980s also, when ecumenism was at its height in the 80s and 90s. It's gone down between then. So that's in Alexandria. That's in Egypt. Another example, we talked about Antioch. Another example, during the Syrian Civil War, one of the bishops of the Melkite Greek Catholic Church said, our church is the church of Islam. Is that a theological statement? No, it's a political statement in the middle of warfare. So
exactly. And it's actually very funny you mentioned Kuwait, because other than the fact that I live there and grew up there, in Kuwait, a lot of the Christians are also from the Philippines, because that's one of the main countries where Kuwait gets some of its foreign workers from. But, the Filipinos are all Catholics, and a Catholic Arab from, say, Lebanon or Syria who's working in Kuwait, they would much rather sooner go to an Orthodox or the Armenian church in Kuwait. And by that, I mean there's literally like probably one or two Arab Orthodox, one Armenian church. But a Maronite in Kuwait would rather go to an Armenian Apostolic church than pray with the Filipino Catholics, because they believe, well, they have Filipino Christianity, we both have Middle Eastern Christianity. So to them,
well, it's a right thing too. Like, even though the Maronites are more Latinized than other Eastern Catholics, they're not like the Greek Catholics where like the Melkites can just go to an Orthodox church and it's probably no difference to them, at least in terms of basic stuff. But the Maronites, like, they have a very they have a Syriac flavor. So like they might be able to get along with Christians from India who are Syriac, but they wouldn't get along with, oh, I'm a fellow Catholic, but I'm from Brazil. It's not going to be the same thing.
But India is also a funny story, because in the Middle East, especially in the Gulf countries, a lot of the foreign workers are also from India, though I think they're mostly overwhelmingly, Hindu, Sikh, Muslim. But if they were to run into an Indian Christian, this Arab, Maronite, Syrian Christian guy, they would, again, much rather pray with someone from the Middle East from a different denomination than with an Indian guy from the same denomination, because they'd be like, oh, maybe these Indian people, they have these South Asian rites or traditions they put into their churches that we don't have. And to be a little blunt, guys, there is a bit of a issue with how South Asians are treated in the Middle East in terms of the whole foreign worker thing. So that can play a big part in it. But yeah.
Again, I do want to read this next. Sorry, I mean interrupt. I do want to read this next one.
Sure.
I'm not going to read all of it. Just Sam. Another. So this is by Patriarch Kirill. Remember, it's not Kirill. It's capital Kirill of Moscow and all Russia. Okay. Again, though, there have been Orthodox patriarchs during the Soviet Union. They said horrible stuff. So that's not orthodoxy debunked. Dear Muslim religious leaders, I'm just going to skip ahead. We Christians have to stand against extremism. This is clearly a political statement. This during ISIS-type activities, he says this kind of stuff. Russia is a 12% Muslim country. I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. Orthodox Christians strive to act according to God's will. Well, there is only one God, so there can really only be one God's will, technically. So I think that, is Kirill using language that sounds a little too ecumenist? Yeah, but he's also cleverly being just vague enough that it is technically true. Like, there is only one will of God. So whether the Muslims agree with us on theology or not, that one God, his will is going to be that. It says, we Christians and Muslims don't confess that God is the true creator of the world. Well, again, that is technically true. Like, Muslims confess that God is the creator of the world, but their understanding of what it means to be that God is completely different. But again, like, what he's saying is not great, but this is not the debunking that Sam thinks it is. Shabir Ali says, what do we have here? I don't know why he put Shabir Ali here. This guy's like not a friend of most traditional Muslims, to be honest. The violence in Iraq. Okay, again, these are people who are, these are Sam's own people who are being destroyed by ISIS. So this is literally his tribe. So Patriarch Bartholomew doesn't even have to comment on this because there's not a lot of EO that are even there. So I'm pretty sure Bartholomew is just saying this stuff because he does not want ISIS to kill more Christians. I mean, wouldn't Sam be pro that? I mean, Sam is a Christian from Iraq originally, his family. So does he not want Bartholomew intervening? Does he want ISIS to hate Christians more? I don't understand what this argument is. What do you think, Crook?
Well, I just think the most ideal situation for Christians in the Middle East is for the Muslims to not hate them because, again, Christians are a minority in the region, so obviously political statements will need to be said, so a lot of the heat is driven off of Christians. But again, I also do think Christians in the Middle East should be willing to fully defend themselves. And hell, there are a lot of Muslims in the Middle East who think that Christians should be able to defend themselves from, extremists, because the Muslims want to show, hey, we can be peaceful, we can live with these Christians even though they don't believe the exact same stuff as us. So you will see some Muslims be like, arm yourself, because a lot of these extremists like Daesh or ISIS, they will also start persecuting and murdering Muslims who have a slightly different flavor from them, which is actually kind of funny.
That's true. That happens
Yeah.
a lot. And the really extreme types will say it's worse to be a heretical Muslim than to be a non-Muslim. So they'll treat them more harshly, like the Shia.
Yes, 100%.
Like there's ISIS and Al-Qaeda in Saudi Arabia, and they don't get along with normal people. Like they commit attacks and they're condemned by the government. So there is a difference. There are some idiot people who just don't like Christians, and that might end up being a lot of people. But there's also a lot that don't really talk about it online. And so you're going to mainly get bad stuff on the internet.
Yeah, and the thing is, James, is that a lot of these extremist types in the Muslim world, they will try to say, oh, we represent the entirety of the Ummah, the entirety of the Muslim population. But then you go there and you're a different Muslim, it's over. It's a joke I have. Like if an ISIS guy were to have a gun with 2 bullets and in front of him there was a Shia and a Christian, he'd shoot the Shia twice.
Probably. Let's be honest with that. Imperator, that's not what Melkite means. Melkite, originally, the word Melkite in Arabic just means basically imperial. It means you follow imperial Rome. So the historical word for Melkite could just mean anybody who's EO. But anyway, I don't understand what else to look at. I think we've dealt with this. It's been almost 2 hours. I'm going to head out, Crook. Sorry, William. I'm going to have to go. I won't have time to let you in today. But I do want to thank everybody for calling in. 2 Crooks, thanks for staying. So, guys, if you're just coming in now, this is my channel, Jeem. We did get off tangent a few times, got some funny call-ins, and we just riffed a little bit, but this isn't a super serious topic. It's, in essence, you can go back a day or two, look at some of Sam back and forth, Jay Dyer. They're not on video together, but they messaged each other, and then it just turned into total berserk stuff. So do I think a debate's going to happen? Maybe, maybe not. Would I like it to happen? Sure, because then I could review it. But also because I think it would be good to finally get this stuff out in the open. Albrecht and Jay have been going back and forth since at least 2018, and it would be nice to finally have that settled. So that's that. Super Chat 5 AUD, thank you very much. He says, isn't the Russian Federation a multi-ethnic country with Muslims being native to the land? It's different than the situation with Catholics. Yeah, again, Russia's 12% Muslim, and they're not all like migrants who just showed up 5 minutes ago. Most of the lands in Russia that have Muslims in them have always had Muslims in them for the most part, other than the big urban centers. So Tatarstan, Bakhorastan, Dagestan, Chechnya, all these places had Muslims in them already. Astrakhan, those were Muslim areas that were in the rule of these Central Asian steppe khanates, and that's Imperial Russia took those over. So those are literally the people that are on there. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Great stream. Awesome stream. Thank you for super chats. Thank you for watching the video. And be sure to check out some of the profiles called in. Some of them have channels, some of them don't. I'll probably do some more collabs. That's it. I did a weird kitchen stream today. And yeah, I kept moving, so motion is real. All right, guys, I'm out. Thank you very much.
What's your business? Don't think when I'm riding by. Ain't no drizzle, the truth off the east side. I know we ain't got